My name is Chris Davis. I'm Associate Professor of History at Lone Star College-Kingwood and coordinator of the LSC Center for Local and Oral History. In my teaching, I try to break down the barriers between the public and academic spheres. I help to create a more informed and engaged citizenry through my teaching. Much of what inspires me in my work and my teaching with my students is seeing myself in my students. In fact, I was a college dropout. I left a big university in Austin and actually came back and picked myself up, gathered myself at the community college. That enabled me to go forward, succeed in my career as an academic, as a professional. I try to foster a reciprocal atmosphere in my classrooms. I see teaching and learning as a dialogical process, one in which I'm learning from my students as much as they're learning from me. In teaching history, I try to enable my students to see themselves as part of a larger narrative. I see history as an assemblage of narratives, some that are complementary, some that are competing, and it's important for me to get my students to have some sense of what's called historical empathy, so that they can better relate both to individuals in the past and in the present and in the future. And in creating this sense of historical empathy, I try to have my students situate themselves inside these narratives, these various narratives, so that they can relate to one another, to different groups, and see history as a manifold of perspectives. Whether they agree with them or not, they can at least understand them and have a better sense of them. I also try to personalize my lectures and my teaching, inserting myself, my own experiences growing up in the South, growing up in Texas, being a Peace Corps volunteer, living in Eastern Europe, to try to demonstrate to them that they too are a part of this story of American history, and that they too have a place and a role inside something that might be larger than themselves. In my teaching, I try to move away from the more content-based, traditional lecture style of teaching to more experiential ways of learning. I try to incorporate lessons and materials that are more visually, orally arresting, whether it's podcast, documentary videos, oral history, to try to give students a sense of experiencing history. Words of wisdom I would pass on to others, especially teachers: never stop innovating. It's okay to fail. Learn from these mistakes. In the same way I try to preach historical empathy for my students, I'm also mindful that we need to have professional and collegial empathy. Be mindful of what my students are going through, that for many of them this is a pivotal moment in their lives. Be sympathetic to that, empathetic to that, reach out to them, and know that people learn in different ways. People experience the world in different ways. People experience U.S. history in different ways. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my colleagues and students for all the support and encouragement they've given me over the years. My success is not my own. It is a sum total of all the people I've met and who've supported me and encouraged me throughout the years.